For this video, I'm going to show you how to draw the flowers that are on your sketch. They're very simple, but they can be tricky just because you're like, well, they have so many petals and they look so beautiful. This is the first thing that you're going to do. Number one, pretend that we are in this area, okay? So the number one thing that I want you to understand is that whenever you're doing these types of rose petals, they are not defined. They are just tones, okay? So some areas you see a little bit darker, and some areas you see a little lighter. What we're gonna do, the first thing that we're gonna do, we're going to just do a random circle and then shade it in very, very lightly. Okay. Now once you do that, then you do a second random circle according to the picture. Okay, so these two are the flowers that are close to the lantern, and this one is the one closest to the books. And the fourth one is around here. I mean the third one, not the fourth one. And the fourth one is here. Okay. Now, as of right now, they just look like blobs. I want you to either blend it with your finger, or you can use a napkin to blend it very gently. Now, I don't like to use my fingers because they're very oily. So I use this little thing called a tortillon. You can use a napkin or a tissue, but very lightly. So what this is going to do is give you a tone for the flowers. Now what you're going to do next, you are going to add the highlights of the white area of the flower. So what you're going to do with the eraser, you're going to start erasing some of those highlights that you see. At first it's going to be hard because you're going to want to make them look solid. But just pay attention to where the light is hitting stuff and where the light is hitting the petal. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the highlight is really, really light. After, what you're going to do, you're going to start adding the darker areas. In the middle of this one, there is a little bit darker here, and then it curves. And we don't want an outline, so what we're going to do, we're going to blend it in a little bit and try to pull away that dark outline away from the highlight. And then you're going to start forming the inside of the flower. And what I like to do is open up the sketch and then I zoom in super, super close so that I can see where things are darker and where things are lighter. So I'm going to start doing the midtones. And you'll notice that sometimes you just have to go back and rework those darker areas or start building on those lighter areas. If you are doing it with a napkin, all you have to do is roll your napkin up to a point and it should allow you to blend it together. Now, a cool thing about this sketch is that you don't have to get the petals exactly the way that the picture is. You can just try to get it as close as possible. what I'm doing right now is the background of the rose that is closest to the table on the sketch. Remember, whenever you're doing this, you have to look at the background so that you can get a little bit of the details. All right, once you get it to this stage, then you can go ahead and go in, back with your eraser, and erase some of those highlights again so that they could pop out a little bit more. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to look exactly like the rose in the picture. It just has to look close to it. And you'll continue this process on the other flowers. And once you view the flower, you can view it from a lot further and it will look better. Finally, once you do your highlights, then you go back in and try to do the darker areas. Try to blend them a little bit so they don't look as harsh.